This is the channel for the woman who's done playing small, the woman who knows there's a fire in her belly, a voice in her bones, and a destiny she's done apologizing for. If you're ready to unleash the woman you were born to be, hit subscribe and join the movement. I'm Leona Schrock, and let's rise together.
Let's get into the second one in this series, Reclaiming Your Power. Powerhouse, I see you, Queen. Let's do this. Let's talk about the identity crisis. Now, I've talked about this quite a bit, of when you go from, I have all these things popping up on my screen. Can't focus when that happens. One thing at a time, okay? Let's do this. Okay. Let's talk about what it feels like when success stops feeling satisfying. When you feel dissatisfied with everything that used to make you feel successful in your life. When you start being selective, when the things that you were okay with in the past, you're no longer okay with in this moment, when it feels like you're shrinking yourself, it feels like you have hit your inner edge and you're like, what is going on? Because boundaries become a lot firmer. You start growing in your identity of no longer being okay with the one who does do it all, who saves the day, who kind of picks up the pieces with people. You become very, very, very selective in who is in your life. And this is going to show up in business, but this is also going to show up in your personal life. And if you are in the dating world, this is going to show up in the dating world. Now, the beauty of this and the power of this is because you're no longer going to waste your time on bullshit that in the past was not bullshit, but it's going to feel like bullshit now. But it was you being in your quote unquote savior complex. Now, I say some of these things with tenderness, but tough love, because us high achieving women, we can be like, did you just say I had like a savior complex? Did you just say that I find success in what I'm doing? Or did you say that I have an unworthy wound? Like the ego can be pretty loud and clear. I'm just, I was her, I know, I see you, you see me. But there's no shame or judgment in this. This was all developed and programmed in order to have you feel safe. And I know for me, as I've been going through this shift of high achievement into embodiment, one of the biggest places that I was really uncomfortable was the cut and dry of people, the chopping block. So I've always, ever since I lost my mom, I've been very selective of who has been in my life. I value my time deeply. And however, with this upgrade, what I was not aware of and what I didn't realize that I was still entangled with people just because a part of me wanted that external validation that what I bring to the table is enough, you could say. And my one soul sister and I used to have these conversations. She used to say to me, some of the conversations that I had with people, she was like, girl, like you're giving away thousands and thousands of dollars in these conversations. Like you are, she's like, I know that you're not aware of this, like because it comes so natural and it comes so easy to you. But she's like, the information that you just like that exits your mouth in these conversation pieces literally is life-changing information. She's like, I'm not saying withhold it. I'm just saying see the value of that you're bringing and also understanding that not everybody is meant to access that part of you. And I was so thankful for her honesty. And I took it from her because she's also a high achieving woman. And this is what I mean so raw and real with you guys is when we know that somebody relates to us, we will be much more open to receiving. And it took me about 3 to 4 months for me to really like get a handle on that because I was like, well, I don't know when to shut Coach Leona off and when to like just be me and how to be okay with like not actually like sharing what I know because I was so excited and I was Like, I want to share this. But what was going on a deeper level was I wasn't trusting the value that I brought into other people's lives simply because of the power of who I am as a woman. And when I began to realize that I've known this term for a very long time, don't throw the pearls before the swine. There is something to be said. And I know that I am such a force to be reckoned with, that there are people in my life that they energetically are not even ready to handle everything that comes out of me. That's also why I've created a room and I'm doing the monthly membership of Reclaiming Her Power to have women come in and access that because it is high frequency. What I teach, what I deliver is very high frequency. It's very intentional. It's infused with intention. It is in alignment with who I am. It's what I've integrated in my own life. It's what's changed my whole life. And I don't go out and about anymore and talk to people and be like, ooh, should I share this or should I not share with them? Because I'm embodied in who I am. So I either do because I'm aligned or I don't because I'm not aligned. But I began to see people differently. I began to realize that not everybody is there, and that's okay. But then there were people in my life where I had an instant chopping block moment. There was like, I don't desire to explain myself to you. I don't desire to continue this relationship. There is nothing there is nothing in it for you or for me. I mean, there was for them, but for me, that is full circle going to help evolve and grow. We are like in two different places and spaces. They are here and I am here, not because I am better than them, but because of where we are in our growth journey. And so if I let go and release, that creates room in their life for who is meant to be in their life, creates room in my life. Nobody's benefiting of me holding on. But I had to go through because the shift came came so fast that I was like, oh, this is really uncomfortable because I wasn't trusting and believing in the value that I have brought yet into relationships by the beingness of who I am. I was still kind of in performance because here's the thing. As high achieving women, our achievements, quote unquote, are a great scale of I'm valuable. What we typically avoid is being us, not being us as in how we perform, but being us in our soul and who we are, being us of slowing down and enjoying that meal, being us of just enjoying the sunrise, enjoying the sunset, being us of knowing that you are enough of when you sit down with that person and you just laugh and you have a great time without doing anything, that you brought value to that person's life. It's being seen without the pressure of performance. It's what you crave, it's what you desire with everything on the inside of you. Yet it feels so terrifying to drop the performance mechanisms because what that requires is saying that I feel loved because of who I am, not because of what I do. It's coming home to you embodying you being loved and dropping the safety mechanisms. And when you're in that, in your career, in your business as well, you're going to start looking at this happened in my business. I actually kind of crashed and burned. You will hear me say this. I did this multiple times in my business. Crashed and burned courses that I was making. I'm going to share a really raw and real story with you that I had to let go due to my ego, due to my protecting mechanism. There's no shame in it. It was just something that I came to the realization and I was like, oh my gosh, it's time to let go of this. So in when you're a high achieving woman, and remember, we use this as a foundation, and now you're building your empire. When we go into embodiment, we can feel like we're destroying and killing our business because what you were doing is no longer going to be aligned to what you desire. We say that again. What you were doing is no longer going to be aligned with what you desire. So I want you to ask yourself the question, and this is going to take several sessions because your body's going to have to learn how to feel safe in it. But start asking so your mind and your body start looking for the answers. And don't put the pressure on yourself to have the answers right away. But if you were to build a business that was gooey, dewy, and juicy, and it was sensual, and it lit your soul on fire, and it wasn't about what anybody thought of you, it wasn't about what you thought you should do, what is the right or wrong thing to do, what would your business look like? So I was like, I couldn't figure out I had this pattern where I kept creating courses and then I would burn it down. Create a course, burn it down. I would even promote it, burn it down. And I started being like, I'm not a woman of my word. Like, what is going on here? And integrity is one of my core values. I'm failing as a leader. I can't continue to say I'm going to do something and then I don't do it. And I was like beating myself up and I was criticizing myself and I was like, oh, I'm just afraid of selling. I go into freeze mode. I self-sabotage right before I hit the peak of actually selling it. There was all these stories I had going on the inside of me. So as I continue to navigate through this, and I'm in this program where it's the Millionaire Club and it's the Wealthy CEO, and she has several different programs in there that I show up and do a class every day. And I kept trusting in the discomfort. I kept being like, but what I do know is I can't launch a course and not be aligned with it. Like, bottom line, if I'm not aligned with something, I'm not going to do it. That's something that the deeper embodiment that I have, the more I will just cut it off. And because you realize that alignment will cost you, it will cost you your health and your wealth, your relationships, everything. Misalignment is going to cost you your dreams. And so I had this like whole revelation that in the past, I would create courses because it was performance. I could create the course, I could launch it, I could sell it, checklist, did the thing. If it sold well or if it didn't sell well, at least I did the thing. And I was no longer willing to abandon myself to do something to sell a course to look a certain way. And so I kept asking myself the question, what I told you to ask yourself. And I was like, I had this download one Sunday morning where I'm like, I want to create a monthly membership. And why I want to create a monthly membership, and I'm going to put a signature series in there that's going to be my signature course because my life is literally, if we go through the course of my life and we go back through the days, and we like literally from the time that I have left the Amish culture to my whole lifeline, the last 15 years, it has been about reclaiming my power. And that is what I'm here to walk and talk and teach women on this earth. I am here to elevate men in the business world, and I am here to take women back home to embody their power that God has placed within them. So, in that to be said, I was like, because I kept being like, well, by the time I create, one of the biggest things for me was like, by the time I create the course, it's like freaking outdated. I'm already like 3 identities down here. And I'm like, well, I no longer feel aligned to sell it because I have new information that I want to get in your hands. So when I create and I realized that in my executive coaching and in some of my really, really VIP access humans, I talk to them almost daily. And I was like, I want to create a membership where my people are walking with me, where they grow and evolve with me in real time, where I drop the voice notes in and I'm like, I had this download, I had this perspective shift. This is what I'm doing in my life. You're going to have the signature program, Reclaim Her Power, but then you're also going to have in real time voice notes. Do you know? Do you know how infused energetically that is when you get me in real time. Because the people, I did an evaluation, it was like the people that walk like this with me in life, they transform so fast. They eat transformation for breakfast. And I was like, if I can 10x that and 20x that with reaching women where they can come in my container and they can grab and they can have the access, we are all winning in life. And I'm not like putting life on pause. Because if there's one thing that I won't do, I won't put my life on pause. I'm like, come on, get in here. Let's do the things. I'm not going to hold your hand. You are a self-led woman. And that's the thing is this monthly membership is for self-led women. I am in a container where I am called forward. I self, she does not come in and ask, are you guys doing your classes? I fucking know. I show up and do the things. And this is why it's also perfect for high achieving women because you have access to the tools to get into the room and to show up every day for yourself. And there's going to be ways in which you find that you haven't been leading yourself. And that's okay because you are outsourcing your power to other areas because you were busy doing the things. But now you're going to bring your energy back in because you're going to connect to your own power and you're going to get deeply embodied and deeply integrated and you're going to show up for you and you're going to transform and you're going to change your whole life. So when you're in the crisis of letting go of where you feel like you're losing your drive, you feel like you're burning your whole life down because for me, I was like, oh, I was like, help. I'm like burning my life to the ground again. And I wasn't burning my life to the ground. I was letting go of what couldn't go with me to build the empire that I was desiring to build and to create a legacy for my family and to make a bigger impact. So, a few questions for you to ask yourself is if I stop proving myself, who would I be? And another question that I want you to ask yourself is, what does it feel like for me to be truly and deeply grounded in my own power? I will drop more information next week in all the ways for you to access and to get into my monthly program. In the meantime, just know that you have so much power on the inside of you. Start with the things that I have given you in these episodes. Start integrating in your life because 2026 is the year of the fire horse and it has been on fire. And it's all about your intuition. It's all about embodiment. And it's all about you showing up and doing life like riding a horse. And it's going to be a wild ride and for you to trust and surrender. Until next time.